Thank you very much indeed, John. Thank you, Mr. Stewart, for those kind introductions, those words of introduction. Thank you to all of you here at Sidwell for welcoming me here. Thank you especially to Mr. and Mrs. Zeidman, to Jennifer and Betsy, also for welcoming me and for giving me the opportunity to speak at this memorial lecture. I hope you will not think it too bold or inappropriate of me to say that I do in some ways feel a connection with John Zeidman, even though I never met him. I too first went to China in the 1980s as a 20-year-old undergraduate and have been involved with China ever since, and it really is a great honor for me to come and speak here at the memorial lecture that has been set up in his memory. When I look at the list of my predecessors who stood here and given this lecture too, I feel a sense of awe. They're basically all my teachers and the people I've learned from over the last 20 years as I've studied China and sought to understand China. And so I hope that I can even say a little bit of, even a tenth of what they said to illuminate for you something of modern China. And as John mentioned, I'm going to be talking to you about a certain road. The subject of the talk, China at the Crossroads, Future Directions of a Rising Power. What I'll be doing is just talking you through the road trip that I made, the two road trips that I made, the first one for the radio series that went out on National Public Radio in the summer of 2004, and then the road trip that I made, that was just a 2-week trip, and then when it became clear that I was going to turn this into a book, I realized pretty soon that I didn't have enough material to turn it into a book, and so I did the road trip again in the summer of 2005, and that is what became the book, China Road, and this indeed is the road that I took. This is Route 312. And I'm going to just talk you through with some pictures taken along the way, some of the issues that arose on my journey and some of the issues that have arisen in my study of China and in my reporting on China over the last 20 years. And hopefully through this prism and through the metaphor of the road, as I do in the book, to try and just answer the question of where China is going as it approaches the crossroads. Or maybe it's already at the crossroads. It seems like China's always at the crossroads. But I think it's especially at the crossroads now because we've got this major event coming up, the Olympic Games. We look back at certain crucial points in history. 1978, in the end of 1978, 30 years ago, when the economic reforms began that we've now seen transform China. 1989, of course, the Tiananmen protests and the crushing of them. But as we look at the Olympic Games and we look at how so much has actually been put on hold over the last couple of years, in preparation for the Olympics, which are finally going to happen, I think it's a very, very crucial time as China goes into the Games, especially in the light of the events of recent days in Tibet, and what that all says about the possibilities of further disturbances in the coming months, but also as we emerge into September 2008 and the Olympics are behind us, but the issues facing China are still very much the same. So what I'd like to do is just tell you about the road. It runs 3,000 miles all the way from Shanghai through the agricultural heartlands, up through the Gobi Desert, through the Muslim northwest, up to the border with Kazakhstan. And initially, when I had the idea to do this road journey, I wasn't sure whether to go west to east or east to west. And it's after I thought about it a little, I decided I would go east to west, partly perhaps to just follow the great Go West young man thinking of the American West, and indeed there are some parallels. But also because I think if you head east, you find that I think you sort of know rather where you're going. you know you're heading along the yellow brick road to the Emerald City of Shanghai with the workers and with the people who are heading there. When you travel west, it opens up a lot more questions because, as I discovered, a journey westwards in China is very much a journey into China's frailties. The frailties that we don't necessarily see on the evening news, we don't see in the shiny buildings of Shanghai, but the frailties that have emerged in a very real manner over the last 30 years. And the fault lines that I saw as I travelled this road will very much go a long way to talking about, to showing what it is, where it is I feel that China is going as it looks into the future, the contradictions that have emerged, this idea that the rise of China is inexorable, that it's just going to go on, that we'd all better just get out of the way or try to have to accommodate an inevitable rise of China. Certainly this journey has raised some big questions for me about that. Briefly at the beginning, what I want to do is just read you a couple of short elements of the book, because this book is about all sorts of things. Of course, it's about the economy, it's about politics, it's about China's place in the world, of course. But perhaps more than anything, it's about people. And it's through understanding the people of China, which is something I've always tried to do in my reporting and in my study of China, that I think we get as good an idea of where China's going as anything. And so I thought I would just introduce you to two characters in the book who tell us something about where China is going. And here's the first one. This is a man who I met in a town in the middle of the Gobi Desert, and he came up to me with his friend, and I was walking along the street. We went through the usual routine, where are you from, etc. And then I said, so what do you do? And he held up his bag, and he said, and on it was the two Chinese characters, An Li, and he said, we are the Gobi Desert representatives of Amway. And you couldn't make this stuff up, I tell you.